Welcome to the Obvious Leadership Podcast, where we dive into practical leadership insights that are, well, obvious. Your hosts have walked the talk, and now they're sharing their knowledge, strategies, and advice. Let's jump into today's episode and explore the world of leadership with your hosts, Joey and Omar.
All right, welcome to another episode of Obvious Leadership Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Joey, and
I'm Omar.
Omar. All right, man. So we wanted to first welcome everybody back. Thank y'all so much. We want to encourage everybody to definitely like and subscribe if you like the content that we talk about. If y'all have any suggestions, please leave us some comments. So just to jump right into it, guys, we wanted to talk today about some of the leadership beliefs that are false, right? That people think that they have a misconception about what leadership actually is. So leading off, leaders, a lot of people think that leaders should have all the answers, right? So leadership is not about having all the answers. It's about guiding to find solutions collaboratively, right? It's okay to admit when you don't know something. So you don't have all the information. What do you think about that, Omar?
No, for real. Because if you think that being a leader means you need to know everything, you need to be able to answer every single one of the questions that your team members has, you're not doing them a service, you're doing them a disservice. And number two, you're not giving them the ability to be able to grow, right? Because a lot of it is being able to find the resources. And here's the thing, you got into leadership because of a trade or another, because you're successful in selling or you're good at networking. It doesn't mean you know every single thing. It means that you're able to help people find the resources, because I don't know certain things. So you know what? That's a good question, Joy. Let me do some research real fast and see, because that actually seems like it's going to be kind of like a high level question that you're asking. Or, you know, Joy, I'm not sure. But you could try reaching out to so-and-so, because I know that they've worked in a similar department before and they might know the answer.
Yeah. So just to tag on to that, right? I think that when it comes to people thinking that you know everything because you're the manager, the leader, like they're going to naturally come to you to ask questions, right? And one of the things, like I used to actually want that, I was like, yeah, come to me. I have all the answers. I have all the answers. I was using that as a way to kind of build myself up with the team. But by you giving them the answers, like you're saying, you're doing them a disservice, because you're not exercising that muscle of problem solving, right? So I eventually came to the understanding, or maybe somebody told me, like, hey, look, have them come to you with an answer, so that way y'all can talk about the answer and see if that's the right solution, right? So that they've already gotten halfway there. You just need to kind of guide them to the end of it.
Yeah. Plus, when they're coming strictly to you, you're shooting yourself in the foot, because that takes time away from what you need to get done. You don't really think about it, but a 5-minute takeaway from, you getting something done actually does set you back a lot, because it kills your flow. And that's something that we can talk about, because that is a scientific thing. But that does lead us to number 2, right? Leaders should never show vulnerability. Oh God, this one. Vulnerability and authenticity can actually build trust with your team. You don't have to appear infallible to be a respected leader, right? What do you think, Joey? Like, I'm Superman as a leader. Oh yeah.
Come into work every day and you act like the walls aren't burning down, right? When they really are, then it means that either you are burning down the walls, you're the reason why the walls are burning down, right? Or it could be that maybe the person that's working for you, like maybe they're going to think, what am I missing? Like, what's going on? Like what am I missing out on? Just because you think everything's okay and you act like that, then they think they may have to act like that, right? And that can lead to bad things.
Well, I would take it a step further. The topic we've talked about before, right? The being human, understanding that your teams aren't machines. That's another part of that. Because if you yourself believe that, you know what, I don't care that my, one of my team members' parents just passed away, or that their kid is deathly sick or anything like that, it takes a lot of the humanity away from the person, and it just kills them to want to, it kills them because they don't want to be there no more, right? You don't respect them as an individual, you don't respect them as a person, you don't respect them as an employee, as a worker, as a contributor. Yeah. Right? It takes that away. So it just kills the, to use the Gen Z and, you know, late millennial time, it kills the vibe.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, and it's not just a Gen Z. Everybody wants to know that somebody cares about, you know, the situation that they're going through, especially their leader, right? That's everybody. Everybody wants that. So I 100% agree with you on that. Like, it's important to show that human side of you, and also to establish that human connection with the people that are working for you. So that kind of leads us into number 3, right? So leadership is not a position; it's not a behavior, right? That's what leadership is not defined solely by a title or a position. Anyone, regardless of exhibit leadership behavior by influencing and inspiring others, right? So I guess the misconception there is that people think you have to have a title to be a leader, right? And so we've talked about this before, where essentially, if we're the leader, you know, that's the position that we have. And we're trying to get that first follower, like we've talked about.
Yep.
Right. Who's really the leader? Is it the one that is stepping up and following you because they're breaking away from the pack and they're coming to follow you, right? Are they really the leader, or are you the leader, right? In that situation, it depends on perspective.
Yeah. I mean, the first follower is a unrecognized form of leadership. But even then, right, take it a step further, where you don't have to have the title of manager to be able to help lead your team. You could be one of the better performing salespeople that is taking it upon yourself to coach and mentor some of the people on your team, because you understand, you know what, if they get better at selling, that means I don't have to deal with crap stuff all the time, because they can step up to the plate and I can just focus on my top, you know, clients that give me the most amount of, you know, return on my investment, or whatever the case is, right? But there are so many different ways where you can step up into a leadership role without the title of as a manager or a leader, and vice versa. Just because you have the title of a manager or a leadership position doesn't mean that you're suited to actually lead other people, right? And you got to understand the differences.
I don't know the way exactly this saying goes, but you know, a manager manages people, right? And a leader breeds leaders, right? I mean, that's what I think you should be doing as a leader, right? And that's because if you're not fostering the environment to where that person wants to help this person get better,
yeah,
right? You may not, you may be missing out on the ability to take advantage of, like, hey, maybe this person is a really good leader and that's what they're good at, right? They could be motivating the team, you know, just as much as you should be, right? And I mean, you have to take advantage of some of those positive things that are on your team already.
Yep. And guys, when we say take advantage, we're not saying it in a negative way. You're helping somebody step up into a role, because to what Joey is saying, right? Leaders help breed and cultivate a community of leadership, right? Where managers, and I'll take it a step further on this one, managers don't manage people, they manage processes. Because you can control and manage processes, you can't control people. And that actually leads us into the next tidbit on this one, that leaderships, this is another false leadership belief, by the way. Leaderships or leaders should always be in control. Effective leaders allow others to take initiative and make decisions. Trying to control everything stifles growth and innovation. And that's what I mean by, you know, managers manage processes. And to your point, Joey, leaders breed and cultivate leadership, right?
So how do you give that person the opportunity to be a leader, right? You kind of ask yourself that. And like, honestly, we are not the people in front of the customers 90% of the time, right? Yeah. Yes, we are the times where we are in front of customers, but it's not as much as your frontline employees. Nope. And honestly, they have the perspective of what things really need to be, like for them to be more efficient for themselves, for a solution that might be better for the customer. Like, if you see that this person is really effective and you know who those people are, right? That know how to get the job done, like, use their perspective to figure out what needs to change to make everybody's position more effective, right? For everybody involved. And then that's what I think this is talking about, right? Don't sit there and say, oh, I think this needs to change because I think it's a good idea and it's going to save the company money. Like, that's that top down mentality, right? Where we think that we know, but the people that are on the front line, they actually know.
Well, it's not only that, right? Think of it this way. Leaders that feel that they always got to be in control, that's a micromanager. That's a toxic trait right there, right? You don't have to control everything. There are people that are SMEs, subject matter experts that actually know the material better than you. So you can't be in control, and you have to trust that, you delegating it to them is going to yield better results than you doing it. And that's just one of the things you got to do as a leader. You got to let go of control and allow the group as a whole to come together to push the group forward.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that directly relates to our next tidbit, right? So leadership this is another false belief here. Leadership is about being the loudest voice. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we have down on this is leadership is not about dominating conversations, but about listening, understanding, facilitating discussions that lead to informed decisions. And man, like, I feel like this kind of just builds upon everything we've talked about so far, right? It's about you don't need to be the loudest voice. You just need to pull it out of the people that are already working for you, man. Like, they know better than you are, really. I mean, like, you're just there to kind of guide them to that success, right? Yep. I think it's important to let them speak. And we all know that, like we've talked about before, we don't want to be told what to do. But if somebody says, hey, I'm successful by doing this, this, and this, and they're like, oh, well, I'm going to do what they're doing, right? I mean, that's a different form of communication when it's going from employee to employee. What do you got on that?
It's unfortunately, it really is a bad leadership belief, but it is an unfortunate thing that a lot of leaders or a lot of managers are promoted because they are the loudest voice, and they don't have the traits and they're not developed, but because they're the loudest voice, they're the ones that consistently get seen. That's the reason why they get promoted, because they breed familiarity. And it is unfortunate, but I'm also going to say this, that, if you want to step up, you do need to speak up a little bit. You don't need to be the boisterous, loudest, arrogant voice, right? But also understand that as a leader, if I'm giving you opportunities to step up into some type of leadership, but you continuously don't step up or don't want to step up, then I'm going to take it as though you don't want to be promoted. So you can't be upset that I'm not going to look at you for promotions, right? Because part of it is the want to get into a leadership role. So that's where I'm like a little torn. It is a very bad belief. And unfortunately, a lot of people get promoted because of that. And that's unfortunately where we see a lot of churn as well when it comes to leaders, because we promote the wrong people for the wrong reasons. But it does have a little bit of truth where you do need to kind of be a little bit vocal about what your career aspirations are, right? You just don't need to be blah, 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 blah.
Well, that brings up a good topic I wanted to do for a future episode. You guys let us know in the comments what y'all think about the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? And how we do the situation. Because I know that's frustrating for me.
Yeah, I like that title. But yeah, guys, don't forget, be sure to, hit that follow and like button. Let us know what you thought about, these 5 false leadership beliefs. If you guys like them, we'll make another list of, maybe 5, 10 more, and we'll go from there.
All right, guys, appreciate y'all listening in. Please leave us a like and subscribe, and we'll catch y'all next time.
All right, guys, later.
And that brings us to the end of today's Obvious Leadership episode. Remember, every great leader starts with one step, and you're already on your way. Small changes lead to significant impact. Until next time, keep leading with purpose, and remember that leadership is the key to unlocking extraordinary results.